You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
If you've ever found yourself caught in that whirlwind of startup growth, you definitely know it's this mix of like amazing breakthroughs and, let's be real, often pretty chaotic moments. It's that constant push and pull, right?
Yeah.
Between moving at lightning speed and, desperately trying to build something solid that actually sticks around.
Exactly. And that tension, that's really why we're here today. We've touched on why having robust processes is, well, absolutely critical for startups. They're kind of the hidden backbone of growth that lasts. But this deep dive, this is all about the how. We're going to get into the core strategies for effective process improvement. We're pulling insights straight from Emmanuel Beccari's fantastic book, Startup Process Improvement Mole 1-1, Turning Chaos into Cash, focusing particularly on the fundamentals he lays out in Chapter 5. Our goal really is to help you sidestep the common traps and find practical, iterative ways to genuinely boost speed and quality without, adding all that stiffness people hate.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this. Because, Beccari learned this the hard way with his own startup, Aqua House. Innovation without that foundational process. Whoosh! Recipe for collapse. He talks about it cost them, $150,000 in lost opportunities? Rework.
A staggering amount, yeah. And it really hammers home the point, doesn't it? That old move fast and break things idea isn't just outdated.
It's obsolete, honestly, for anyone trying to build something that lasts.
Totally obsolete.
Yeah.
In today's world, the winners aren't just fast. They're fast and they build enduring value. That old mantra, it just leads straight to these significant, often hidden costs that can absolutely cripple a promising startup.
And it's wild how those costs aren't just immediate hits, they cascade, right? What seems like a harmless shortcut, maybe skipping a step in onboarding, or someone just forgets to log some data. Boom.
Yeah.
Immediate stuff like errors, rework, delays. I bet you felt that frustration doing the same thing 3 times because the first 2 were messed up due to a missing step somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. And those immediate things, they don't stay small. Let's imagine this founder, maybe call her Alex, running Swift Ship Logistics, a fast-growing delivery startup. At first, okay, a few missed delivery instructions, minor stuff, easily fixed. But those little errors, they start to compound. Suddenly you've got bigger operational headaches, inconsistent quality on delivery routes. Team morale just tanks because everyone's firefighting and saying sorry to customers.
Right. Constant apologies.
And naturally, a huge spike in customer complaints, late deliveries, wrong items. And that escalates into serious business problems for SwiftShip. We're talking lost revenue from refunds, customer churn, a damaged reputation. Growth slows way down because word gets out about the chaos. It's this nasty cycle.
It really is. And, often when we hear process, our brains just jump straight to bureaucracy, forms, red tape, ugh. But Beccari's book makes this super critical distinction, and I think every founder needs to get this. Think of an enabling process like a smart GPS. It guides you effectively, right? Recalculates if there's traffic, helps you get there faster, more reliably. It's flexible, focused on the outcome, and importantly, it adds value.
Exactly.
Whereas a bureaucratic process, that's like being forced to follow some old hand-drawn map from, 1998, even if roads are closed. It's rigid, obsessed with rules, and it actively drains value, hinders you. So the real challenge for Alex at SwiftShip, or any startup, is putting in those smart enabling processes, not falling into that bureaucracy trap.
That balance is absolutely the core challenge. It's key for effective improvement. Too little process, chaos, inconsistency, and you just can't scale properly. Alex at SwiftShip would see that fast as delivery volume explodes. No clear steps means every driver does things differently. You get unpredictable results. But swing too far the other way, you create that stifling bureaucracy, that rigidity, and you actually kill the innovation that made you a startup in the first place. It's a real tightrope walk. And that optimal point, it's always shifting.
It is. And the book has this process agility balance framework that shows it really well. It's not some fixed point you just find and stick to. It really depends on your specific situation, right? Your startup stage, just launching or scaling like SwiftShip. Market volatility, how complex are the actual tasks, and regulations you got to meet. What works for, say, a heavily regulated fintech is going to be totally different from an early stage consumer app.
Which leads right to the crucial question. How do you even know if your startup is under-processed too chaotic or maybe over-processed too rigid? There are pretty clear warning signs for both. For under-processing, look for inconsistent results, same inputs but different outputs. Like SwiftShip gets the same order details but one driver nails it, another gets lost. Constant firefighting, always putting out fires that, honestly, were preventable. Teams reinventing the wheel, solving the same problems over and over because nobody wrote down the solution. Key person dependencies where work just stops if one specific person isn't around, like only Alex knows how to handle the tricky customer complaints. And difficulty scaling. Growth just creates these disproportionate operational headaches, like SwiftShip's profits getting eaten up by endless redeliveries.
Oh man, that's so relatable if you've been in that fast growth pressure cooker. I remember this B2B software company, Cloud Secure. They started with hardly any processes, genuinely thinking it kept them agile. But when they hit like 50 employees, bam, all those under-processing signs hit hard. Onboarding was all over the place, security setups, varied client, critical knowledge, stuck with just a few senior engineers. But then they put in some targeted, simple processes for things like customer onboarding, just a standard checklist for client data, a defined handoff between sales and engineering. Simple stuff. And they cut onboarding time by 40%. It really shows how process can actually enable agility and efficiency, not just stifle it, gave them that repeatable foundation.
It's a fantastic example. Structure can free you up. It doesn't have to tie you down. Now, flip side, over-processing. It has its own warning signs, too. You'll see slow decision-making. Simple tasks needing multiple sign-offs. Imagine Alex needing 3 signatures just to get new tires for a delivery van. Ridiculous. Often there's resistance to change because the processes become these rigid, sacred cows. The focus shifts, right? It becomes about meticulously following the rules, not achieving the actual outcome. Leads to excessive documentation nobody reads. And maybe the most critical, a lack of innovation. Processes just inhibit trying new things, experimenting. Makes it really hard for SwiftShip to test new delivery routes or pricing without mountains of paperwork first.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. We've spotted the signs, but the big question for every founder listening is like, okay, where do I even start?
Yeah.
What practical steps does Bakari actually suggest we do?
Right, and that's where this mindset shift comes in. Pragmatism over perfection and starting small. The real insight here, especially for startups, is that perfect is so often the enemy of done. It's not about being sloppy, no. It's understanding that any process, even a slightly messy one, is better than chaos. Why? Because it creates a learning loop. You just can't get that feedback otherwise. So the best process isn't perfect day one. It's one that gets better every single day through iteration. Take Payment Flow, that fintech example. They launched merchant onboarding with a dead simple 3-step process. Took them 48 hours to implement. Wasn't perfect, wasn't exhaustive, but it let them start onboarding customers immediately. Then, systematically each week, they identified one small improvement based on actual data, user feedback, maybe clarifying one form field, adding an automated reminder email, tiny things. Within 3 months, onboarding time dropped from 14 days down to 5, all without some massive, costly redesign, just embracing those incremental gains.
That's such a powerful example of continuous improvement in action. And it leads right into this idea of the minimum viable process, the MVP. So if we're starting small, iterating, it really sounds like building a minimum viable process, doesn't it? Just like an MVP for software.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
An MVP for a process is the simplest version that delivers the core value and lets you start learning. You're not trying to build the whole cathedral right away. Start with
Functional chapel.
Yeah.
A functional chapel.
Yeah.
I like that.
So an MVP process, it tackles a clear specific need. It handles the common situations, right? Leave the complex edge cases for later refinement. For SwiftShip, maybe their driver onboarding MVP just covers the absolute basics. Background check, vehicle inspection, setting up the app. That's it. Documentation needs to be simple, visual maybe, an infographic, a short video, not a 50-page manual nobody will read. Minimal upfront investment. And crucially, it's designed for that continuous incremental improvement. The source material even gives this practical tip, the rule of 3 for MVP. Try to limit it to no more than 3 roles involved, 3 key decision points, 3 pages of documentation, and 3 key metrics to track. What that rule really does is highlight how complexity isn't just a barrier to implementing something, it's a barrier to people actually using it. Your team won't adopt what feels too complicated or burdensome.
Totally. And for actually building that continuous improvement muscle, the PDCA Cycle Plan Do Check Act gets mentioned as simple but really powerful. It's a classic for a reason, I guess.
It really is. So in the plan phase, you define the problem super clearly. For SwiftShip, maybe it's deliveries are consistently 15 minutes late downtown. Okay. Then you analyze the current situation. Get to the root causes. Is it traffic? Bad routing software? Drivers getting lost? Develop a simple improvement plan. Maybe test a new optimized route sequence just for downtown. And set clear, measurable success metrics. Like cut downtown delivery time by 10 minutes in 2 weeks. The key here is brief but thorough. Understand the problem before you jump to fixing it. Then comes do. Implement the change, but small scale first. For SwiftShip, test that new route sequence with just 2 drivers downtown for a week. Carefully document what you did, collect the data on delivery times, and absolutely involve the people doing the work that drive us here. Their insights are gold. Next, check. Compare your results to what you expected. Did downtown times actually decrease? Did anything else pop up? Analyze the gaps, look for unintended consequences, good or bad, get direct feedback from those 2 drivers, and finally, act. If it worked, great, standardize it. Document the new process for all drivers, train them. If it didn't work, analyze why not. Adjust your plan based on what you learned, and then you loop back. Start the PDCA cycle again with those new insights. It's this ongoing loop of learn and refine.
So it really is a constant loop, not a one-off fix, which is perfect for a dynamic startup environment. And there's that great practical tip for startups, the 5x5 rule for PDCA. It says plan and do together should take no more than 5 days, and the improvement itself shouldn't need more than 5 hours total work. That forces you to focus on small, manageable changes you can implement and check quickly. Hill's analysis paralysis right there makes it feel doable even when you're swamped.
Exactly. It really leans into that pragmatism we discussed. And beyond PDCA, the book mentions a few other really effective techniques for startups that fit this iterative style. Constraint analysis, for instance, super powerful. Just think about your daily workflow. Where do things always seem to jam up? Is it a person, an approval step, a slow system? Finding that single biggest bottleneck and throwing your energy there can have this huge ripple effect because you're freeing up the whole system downstream. It's like finding the slowest runner on a relay team.
Right, focus on that one person, not everyone.
Precisely. For SwiftShip, maybe it's the package sorting station that gets swamped every afternoon. Fixing just that can improve the flow for every single package. Simple concept, minimal training needed, often gives the fastest bang for your buck. Then you've got value stream optimization. This is all about maximizing the activities that actually add value for the customer and cutting out the stuff that doesn't. You map out every single step from the customer's perspective, first contact to final delivery, and then you ruthlessly ask, does this step add value to the customer? If not, it's waste. Eliminate it, reduce it. Remember, Tech Connect Solutions, they mapped their support journey and found, get this, 64% of their activities were non-value adding from the customer's view. Stuff like internal handoffs, re-entering data, waiting for approvals.
64%, wow. That's a massive opportunity.
Huge opportunity to streamline and just deliver a better, faster experience. And finally, standard work development. This is perfect for repetitive tasks or things where quality is absolutely critical. It's not about rigid rules for everything, but for those specific tasks where consistency really, really matters. For SwiftShip, maybe it's the pre-trip vehicle inspection checklist or the exact steps for handing over a high-value package securely. It just ensures everyone does it the same way every time, reduces errors, ensures quality.
Yeah, it's clear these aren't just abstract theories. They're built for action, built for the startup reality. And a few key implementation principles really jump out. Always start small, right?
Yeah.
Build momentum, get those early wins for credibility. Crucially, involve the people actually doing the process, the doers, as the book calls them. They know how things really work on the ground. Their involvement means better solutions and actual buy-in. You're never going to get that SwiftShip driver to follow a new route if they had zero say. And communicate the purpose. Why does this change matter for the business, for them, not just here are the new steps? Connected back to the bigger picture.
Which leads us perfectly into the common pitfalls to avoid. Because knowing what not to do is just as vital, a huge mistake. Improving the wrong processes. Not everything needs fixing right now. Startups often fall into this trap, optimizing something that's just like annoying instead of something with real business impact or customer value. Or maybe they pour effort into fixing a process that's about to be replaced by new tech anyway. You got to prioritize based on impact, value, strategy, not just what seems easy or familiar.
Yeah, good point. And another big one, over-engineering solutions. Classic startup trap, right? Complex solutions just create barriers, especially when resources are tight. We're talking stuff needing big tech investment, tons of steps and approvals, massive documentation, like Alex at SwiftShip proposing some custom-built AI routing system for $100 when just reordering existing routes might give 80% of the benefit. That's over-engineering. Or if the fix is going to take more than, say, 30 days to implement, probably too complex for a fast-moving startup. Simplicity is your friend.
Totally. And the source material gives this brilliant practical tip to help avoid both those traps. Before you start any process improvement effort, ask 3 simple questions. 1, what specific business or customer outcome improves if we succeed? Faster delivery, higher satisfaction, lower costs. Be specific. 2, how will we measure this improvement? What are the concrete metrics? And 3, what is the minimum change needed to get a meaningful improvement in that outcome? These questions force you to focus on high-value stuff with clear success criteria, helps you dodge those pitfalls of wasted effort or needless complexity.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the founder, the team member, riding that startup roller coaster? The real edge today isn't just speed, it's building things that last. And that means consistently improving how you operate one small, smart, iterative step at a time. It's about building that foundation for lasting success, something that can actually handle the chaos that growth inevitably brings.
And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but where do I even start? Here's your actionable takeaway from this deep dive. Pick one thing, one minor inefficiency in your startup today. Don't overthink it. Don't try to boil the ocean. Maybe it's that slightly clunky internal request form. Maybe it's the messy way meeting notes get saved, whatever. Apply that simplest solution first mindset. Focus on a quick, impactful change. That first small win, that tiny bit of chaos you turn into order, that builds momentum. That builds confidence for the next step.
So the question for you is, what one small process improvement implemented this week could start transforming a piece of your chaos into lasting success? Go make that change.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.